Black souls, black souls. Ain't touring the black souls. Black souls. Black souls. Ain't touring the black souls. Black souls. Black souls. Ain't touring the black souls.
Hey y'all.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to Black Sauce Podcast.
We come on in.
I'm A. Nicole.
I'm El Cash.
And I'm just Eden. Hi.
And Naisha.
Hey,
Hey.
nah.
So
Hey.
my sister's here. She's gonna be on phone, but we will be doing a special podcast on Saturday on sisterhood. So you don't want to miss that. She will be here in the flesh for that next week's show. So welcome to today. We took some time off. I went to Jamaica for 2 weeks. So I'm sorry for the wait, but we coming back and we knocking this shit off the door. So
I
today,
just noticed your
my septum.
I
A lot of people think that it's new. It's not. I've had it for years. I just keep it flipped up.
Really?
Yeah, I've had it for since Kingston was in first grade, maybe kindergarten. He doesn't like it. He thinks it's ratchet.
Oh, really?
So I just keep it flipped up. And then I lost because it's a certain size. You don't have a big nose. So I got a snout on me. So when I lost it to flip it up, the other ones were too small. So I would just keep it in, take it out, and I'd lose them.
Uh-huh.
So when I was in Jamaica, the guy who does my tattoos was like, look, we're not doing this. We're going to put this shit in, and you're going to leave it alone. And I was like, all right, so.
Dang. I had no idea. Never knew.
It's here. And then I scratched my cornea, so I had to take my contacts out. So I have my Ray-Bans on today for a while.
Yeah, and you're wearing glasses.
I'm wearing glasses.
Wow.
New
So,
look, right?
I know. Man, I'm terrible.
Yeah.
If someone were to commit a crime
couldn't
and the
be
police
somebody's
asked me questions,
man.
I wouldn't know shit.
Yeah, you don't notice
That's
nothing
good.
new.
I wouldn't notice you can commit a crime
Yeah,
around me, so.
Jesus. How you be my boyfriend? You don't recognize I look different. I done did something new. My hair is up. Have you noticed that?
I did notice that, but I was just like, oh my God, you're here. Because you remember I text you all inconsiderate, I know you out there living your life and everything, but I'm going to need you to come back now.
So I'm back. I'm back. So, Ashanti, I'm sorry. Listen, so me and Ashanti have been best friends since we were 15, 16, but he wants to be known as El Kesh. Mama
Yes.
named him Shanti, I'm named him Shanti. But I need to
Mama called her
respect
Pam,
it.
Mama.
Right. So
All
I'm working on saying El Kesh.
She'll get there.
Right. So El Kesh and Naisha came up with today's concept, and we will be talking about why is certain shit ratchet and disgusting when black folks do it, but is liberating and progressive when white people do it. So we're going to be talking about double standards. We're going to be talking about criminality, I'm sorry, like when white folks do shit, how they want to be quick to diagnose it.
So
When
we're
it's
talking
fuckery.
about
Mental
Vegas.
disease here.
Right, but when black folks do it, it's demonized, it's the nature of the beast. So I think it's a great thing that, Naisha and I are both mental health professionals, so we'll bring that aspect. We have Ashanti here as a black man, and we have Naisha, who is in media, so she knows how stuff is portrayed.
Eden. I'm
Sorry,
Eden.
Eden. I've already been sipping. So, Eden, Sissy Pooh Eden is in media. Well, I'm not going to put her stuff out there, whatever. But she's one of those folks in the media where she's pro-black with it. You're not going to stereotype us. You're not going to do none of that on her watch. So I just think that all of us bring great elements to it. So let's get into it.
I mean, where do we start? Do you want to start with Vegas first, just to top it off?
Oh, God.
Current events.
To be honest, I try to be conscious and take a break from being black, but y'all are bringing me right back to
I'm
it.
so sorry, but we have to do it. So we we can do the first bullet, which is the ratchet, disgusting, and everything with blacks. If you want to talk about appropriation, or we can go right into Vegas.
I mean, appropriation. We could go into. I don't know if anybody saw Stella McCartney. They're having Paris Week in France
with the Ankara,
and
Prince.
She and her whole 2018 line was Ankara Prince, and every single model was white except for one African model. Like literally, the clothes that were walking down the aisle looked like something that like Auntie Tutu would make, who'd be like frying plantains and making fufu or jollof rice.
Yeah.
And
Then the white models have cornrows or something.
I didn't see like any
seen something
cornrows,
like
but I mean, I wouldn't put it past. I think that was probably like Marc Jacobs' show like 2 years ago or something. But that's a perfectly good one, especially when there's a bunch of African designers. One of my favorite being Ty Bakar, who is a high-end fashion designer who makes impeccable stuff but doesn't have the same clout as Stella McCartney, and who is an African designer. And I mean, I just think it comes down to one of those things where we're super, super adamant. Well, I mean, at least I'm super, super adamant. I know everybody sitting here is. We have to really be serious and put our money where our mouths are, and especially put money into our communities. Like I'm not going to go out and, especially like you see those fake dashikis that they sell on Shade Room, and you don't know where they're being manufactured at.
Yeah, we do know they're being manufactured in China.
Exactly. And then you can literally go to, I mean, there's so many different like international shops that specifically cater to us, where you can go there and easily get it made for way cheaper. Yeah.
It's kind of like what's the young lady's name? Leslie Davis. I think she's like Saturday Night Live or Mad TV, one of those.
Leslie, I know you're talking about
she's like tall.
The tall one. Leslie Jones. Leslie Jones.
So like a few years ago, she got invited to the Oscars, the Emmys or something. She got invited to some type of big whitewashed award show, and she was upset that nobody wanted to style her. Like,
the Emmys.
And I was like, if you don't shut the fuck up and get you a black designer, this is your time to grab somebody black and get them to design you. So what they don't want to style you? Fuck them. Am I just... No. Y'all be getting quiet on me. I'll be getting like, oh shit, did I go too far?
No.
But Naisha, what do you think about that?
I actually don't think you went too far. What I do think is some of us as black people, we be looking for the approval of these white motherfuckers.
Right.
And we don't need their approval. And somewhere down the line, we feel like if they approve, that means it's good. If they approve, that means that, we've made it or whatever the case. And you're right. She didn't need to have nobody to style her that was white. She could have came in with a black artist, a designer, and made that shit happen. And, most times than not, when we do come out with a style and there's a black designer that does it, that's where their appropriation comes in. That's when motherfuckers want to start stealing. They want to be styled the way that we're styled or look the way that we were looking.
Right.
So, no, you're not wrong at all.
And
I agree.
It's like when they come out with what we have, when we were like, let's talk about blonde hair or like braids or like red burgundy hairstyles and things. We're ratchet when we do it. But when they do it, it's like, oh, it's self-expression. It's wow, let her do her thing or let him do his thing. But I can't wear that hairstyle and expect to get a quote-unquote good job, but they can. You know?
I mean, that's everything from the fashion to the music. Like tattoos, I can't be seen walking up and down the street with my tattoos. I'm a threat. With a white guy, not so much.
Right.
Hip hop music, they didn't expect that to go anywhere until they started making money off of it. And anything that we can do that they wind up doing, they can be average, but they're seen as exceptional when they do it.
Right.
Exactly. Twerking. Look at Miley. She ain't had no cheeks, and she was out there twerking.
So you have to have
national
cheeks
TV.
to twerk?
Yes. You can't be twerking your back muscles. Like, no. Something has to wag back there.
Something has to wag back there.
Gotta shake. Sorry.
So, Eden, like, what are some things that you see that when black folks do it, it's like, no, but then you later see it, especially, like, since you're in media? Like, what are some things that you see that you just be like, what the fuck?
I've been like trying to consciously stay out of the newsroom.
Okay. I feel you.
I mean, because we all need to take a break, and I mean that's something that you can develop PTSD from as well, because you look at it like all the time. Mm-hmm. But like you said, twerking is one of those things. So now they have twerk workshops. Mm-hmm. You know, and the people who are often teaching those don't reflect how I look.
Right.
Not to say that I'm dying to, know how to twerk or anything like that. Yeah, but they do. They have classes for it. Let's see. But I also see, especially within our community, if we step out and we do something that's not the norm, then we're always, it's like, I remember you posted, it was a while ago, and you were like, oh, now it's cool to be like a black nerd and do all this and stuff. Where were y'all at when we was going through it?
We were going through the fucking going through.
Because I remember like being 11 years old and into Nirvana and skateboarding and wearing the Jinko pants and the Vans and everything before it was cool,
right?
And getting like clowned for it, and then I changed. And then I mean, and I think that works with us as well, I don't know.
I remember having dreads before it was cool. Now white boys got dreads.
Right.
I don't understand.
Right.
I mean, I'll never be okay with white people wearing locks because it just looks nasty. Did you see that? I'm sorry, the Jeremy Lin with the whole thing with Jeremy Lin, the Asian basketball player. So he has locks. But then, he has locks.
You almost spit that out, Ashanti. Take it easy.
He has locks.
Jeremy Lin has locks?
What's his name? Jeremy Lin has locks. But then there's another basketball player who was going off on him about it, and he was Charlamagne's donkey of the day yesterday. Okay. Because homeboy has Chinese tattoos on him. He was like, "How you gonna talk about appropriation when you got on something?"
And don't know what that is.
And don't even know what it means. But Jeremy Lin was the one who called his bluff on it as well.
Ashanti said he has the carry out menu on his skin. But that is true. I don't like when folks get on black kids for liking rock and roll. Do you know we created it? Yeah. And I'm not talking to no push me to the edge, all my friends are dead, none of that.
No, you're talking about System of a Down.
Shit. Right. I'm talking about real rock and roll.
Linkin
and
Park.
A lot of times we do it to ourselves.
Yeah.
It's not just white folks or non-people of color, if you want to be politically correct, fuck that. But it's not just them, it's us too. Naisha, what do you have to say to that?
Is she there?
Is she there? Let's see.
Alma, check your battery.
Okay.
I guess Naisha's not there.
All right. Well. and like Eden's like literally sipping tea. Like
I be thinking I'm sipping tea. That's liquor though. But look, so you ever noticed that like white women can go to college and be hoes?
Girls gone
and then
wild.
Be housewives after that. Mm-hmm. But if you do it, as a black woman,
right,
it's over. It's a wrap. You're no good.
Right,
your name is good.
Like Melania Trump, and she's a first lady. Do you think Michelle Obama, Ivy League grad times 2, even though she has those degrees, do you think that she would be able? They would have drug her against the coal. Mm-hmm. Raped her against the coal if that was her as well. So we're trying to get Naisha back. Nah, you there?
Here I am.
All right.
I'm here now, yeah.
Right, so we were talking about, Ashanti brought up a good point. He was like, when white girls, they're able to go to school, girls gone wild, get them a black boyfriend with a big dick named Tyrone or something and just be hoes. And then later they can be progressively business women and everything. But that can't happen with black women. And I was saying that, look at the Melania Trump.
The only time that happens with black women is when they give their life to God and they go back to
church.
Oh, yeah,
they have to be Christian. They have to come in under the covenant.
Because I know a few, and then they married pastors, and it was like automatically, my whole card has been erased.
Right.
So that's the only time it's
allowed.
Paid
it all. Jesus got to pay it all for us to do it. But I was saying that even if that was Michelle Obama, even though she has 2 Ivy League degrees, it would have been... We don't give a fuck if she were to do the same thing that Melania did.
Of course.
So what do you have to say about that?
It's so crazy with this topic because I know like when we were talking about it from the beginning, it was, it was all fun and games, just thinking of different ways on how there's a difference. But the shit is so real. Like, just everything when it comes to black and white. Like, I know we have the appropriation and assimilation, but even look at the shit like with the white cakes being angel cakes and the black cakes being devil cakes. Everything that the white people do is passable and it's glorified. But when we touch anything, it's just fucked up. And yeah, it would have happened with Michelle Obama, but I don't know. I just feel like segregation is important, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Why do you say it's important?
Why do I think it's important? I don't feel like we need the approval of them. I don't feel like we need to worry about anything. We can have our own designers. We can have our own banks. We can have our own everything, and let them figure life out their way, because we can do it our own. We don't need none of that. We don't need their approval. We don't need nothing. And I think sometimes we get lost in what they say about our culture that, we get so upset. And maybe this has gone on a whole nother tangent, but I don't know. Like, what? Okay, so we know that there's appropriation. What happens after that?
Right.
Like,
right.
What? We know that they keep taking our shit. So what do we do from that point?
So
we call them out, like Charlamagne did Donkey of the Day.
Right.
I think that should happen. So if they're taking our shit, if they're using our shit, look at the Native Americans. They call them out all the time. If they put their costumes out in Party City, them shits be done.
Yeah.
They take them down
right.
because we call them out.
Right.
But we're not doing that.
Right.
We'll just like, oh, they took our shit, and we'll complain. But it's like, what are we doing as far as the mass approach? Are we saying something? Are we calling them out? Are we telling them that this should not be done? Are we taking our money from these designers that we see are taking our culture and then putting it on their shelves? Do we not, purchase shit from them anymore? What happens? We know what's happening, so what do we do?
What do we do?
I don't think we can go back and take their ass, though. They were going so far as to steal the ass. Like,
Ashanti.
they getting ass now. For what?
But then
it wasn't cool in the white community to have ass at one point.
But then in the same breath, it's like even our own women are getting more ass and doing everything.
Most of our women already had ass.
No, but I'm saying I have a good friend of mine who like, I mean, I saw her and I was like, what the hell is going on? And because, it's kind of like, talking to her, it's like, I mean, not saying that I've done anything, but it's like being around someone who does cocaine and they just never ease you into it. They just do it right in front of you and you just like, what the hell? That's kind of like what she did with her ass. It's kind of like, I saw her and it was all like back to ankles a month ago. And then now it's like.
Once white people start getting ass, now everybody want ass. But black women been having ass. And why is sucking dick?
But I'm saying this friend of mine is a black woman.
We're gonna get to that next.
Are we gonna get to that next?
But I had someone say, because that I put up what we're gonna talk about on the podcast the day before on the IG, and so I had a follower say, "Will you speak to how we as black people can get over our resentment and anger because of these things too? Like, I seriously am bothered by culture vulture behavior, but we must live and work amongst those who engage in it." And so I told her, get over was a bad no, I'm sorry. I told her, let me open it up.
You know what the fuck was a bad idea? Fucking integration.
Yeah, that's what Naisha just said.
Horrible idea.
So I told her, I said, no, I wouldn't be comfortable telling my folk to get over and live with their identities being pillaged, violated, and exploited. It's totally healthy to feel all of those things you mentioned. It's not healthy to accept defeat just to get along. So she says, get over was a bad choice on my behalf, as I definitely struggle with this issue. I'm really thinking more so about navigating the feeling so that we can function in a healthy way. You cannot function with somebody who's stealing your shit. That's like my house getting robbed, and I'm like, well, can you please step lightly on my carpet? I just got it shampooed while you cart my fucking TV out here. Or do you think you can leave a gallon of milk in the refrigerator because my baby got school in the morning? And you cannot do that. It's not. You cannot be comfortable with somebody stealing your shit. I don't give a fuck if you work with them. I don't give a fuck if you go to school with them. I don't give a fuck what you do with them. You cannot make it comfortable. Y'all got quiet on me again. Somebody take it.
You were having your tangent.
No,
when you- I mean, when
what
you
the
have
fuck
your
do you
moment,
mean? Make it comfortable.
You can't make that comfortable.
You stealing my shit. I look like my mother. I just looked at the thing. What do you think? Eden, Naisha, sisters, let me know. Ashanti's
Now,
pouring a drink,
why you-
so he's out.
I'm still here. I'm present.
All I
Look.
heard was yes, master.
Right, right.
Like,
You want me to teach you how to
that's what
tap
it sound
dance?
like.
But that's
Yeah.
what people been doing for forever. Tap dancing. I gotta have my tattoos and stuff like that. Why?
Why?
White boy
I
don't have to
hide
have this
shit.
tattoo.
You better look at this Black Panther Party tattoo on my arm and get with it. Get with the program. I've seen a lot of white folks look at me when I do my presentations at work or anything, and they're just looking, and I don't know if they're looking at me to explain it. I don't need to explain to you shit. I like it. That's why the bitch is on here. I'm sorry. I'm gonna take 20. I've been triggered.
And now a word from our sponsor.
I mean, do you all have? Do you think that there is a happy median or a common ground that when you're working with people or you're in close proximity with people who are exploiting your culture, what can you do to be quote unquote comfortable?
I mean, I think the biggest problem is they don't give credit where credit is due. Like, you know what I mean? It's, what is that shit? Imitation is the biggest form of flattery or whatever. But when you imitate something, you have to give credit for where it originated from, and they don't do that. They act like they originated it, and then we're hopping on it. No, it started with us. So I think that's the biggest issue. You know what I mean? And it's not even just white people. Asian people do it. They love hip hop music. They love our style. All the races do. You know what I mean? And they all jump on it, but they despise black people. Like, what was it? What's the saying? If they love black people as much as they love black culture, things would be all right. But they
If
won't
you
give us
like-
credit
Right.
for anything, and it's always disgusting and negative when we do it until they hop on, and
Then it's right.
then it's all right.
Or they just like parts of us, not us as a whole. You like black dick, but you don't like black lives. You don't think they matter.
Oh, they matter enough for them to get a nut.
Right. It mattered for you to get your rocks off.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
I know you.
Go ahead, sis.
You know, you were asking about the comfortability. Like, you know, is there a healthy median? I feel like personally, I get comfortable once I use my voice. So if I know that I'm around them or they're around me, and there's a quote unquote elephant in the room and something needs to be talked about, I ain't gonna be comfortable until I say what needs to be talked about. So once I say it, then it's either you gonna be uncomfortable or you gonna get on the boat with me, and then we can go ahead and keep going. But we ain't gonna move until I say whatever needs to be said. So if we're out and you see a white person or whatever, because you'll do it with anybody else, and they're wearing an Ankara or there's something that just don't sit right with you, why don't you say something instead of taking your phone out and then texting like, bitch, let me tell you, I seen so-and-so. Why don't you say something to them?
Right.
Why don't you say anything? Why don't you call them on their bluff? Why don't you ask questions? But a lot of us don't do it. And I think that that's where we need to start exercising.
Right. Right. And not giving a fuck if you make them uncomfortable. You're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck if they're making you uncomfortable.
But the other piece of that is, though, we gotta know where all of that shit comes from too. A lot of us don't even know our own history, so you can't really confront somebody you don't know your shit.
Yeah, but even
know
if you
your
don't
shit
know your
first.
stuff, you know enough to know that your shit is being taken. You know enough
Most
to know that
definitely.
your shit is being exploited.
But don't let that motherfucker know more about it than you.
Oh yeah, don't do
Yeah,
that. When they be like, well, actually,
don't let them know more about that shit than you, because then you look like a whole ass for real.
that is true.
Yeah, just for me personally, I just feel like everything has to have an open dialogue. If I see something, I'm not going to be quick just to jump on people and just be like, yo, you wearing blah. Because I do have one of my best friends is a white woman, and I got to give credit. Like, we grew up together.
such a white person.
I'm just saying. I know, right?
I have a black friend.
I have a black friend. I mean, no, but I'm just saying, like, one of my best friends is like, she's a white woman. I mean, and she's known me through like a whole bunch of shit that's happened in my life. But I mean, we definitely have these open discussions. Not everything that we agree with. I mean, this has been my best friend since I was 10. She's from Texas, you know, from a Christian, you know, Christian.
That Joel
But
Osteen.
I mean, but definitely she's went off on a different path. I went off on a different path myself in terms of, I mean, she's an addict, you know.
Oh, okay.
I'm very, very sensitive about that. But I mean, but as far as especially navigating through white spaces, because, you know, I definitely do it. I work in a news station. But I'm also very vocal on how I feel and how I present myself. I remember when I first got there for the first 2 years, it was all about the Calvin Klein dresses. It was all about this, have my hair a certain way. My hair was always natural, but it was always like pinned up or anything like that. And I think after the Trayvon Martin stuff ended up happening, I became more and more like set. I didn't want it to be where it was, I was one way when I was out, you know, on U Street and at the open mic nights, and I'm here at Busboys and Poets, and then when I get to work, then it was just like
costume.
Yeah, I was a costume. And the more, like, as the months poured in, I became more unapologetically black, especially when it came to being in certain meetings, to the point now where when we all need to discuss something, and I can't say that, I mean, there are times where I'm just like, I don't feel like being with these cracker-ass crackers. But then for the most part, like, I do have really, really great coworkers where when we talk about something, I personally feel good when they come to me. I don't like being the spokesperson for black people, but when it comes to how we're being projected in the media, I do appreciate I have certain coworkers who will come and be like, hey, let me ask you your opinion on this. How does this sound if we word it like this? Or how do we do that? And I feel like there needs to be an open dialogue. And no one's saying, and I'm not going to tell anybody to suppress how they feel, but I also say that if there is an open dialogue, you can definitely catch more bees with honey than you do with vinegar.
Well,
you know,
shit.
that's the Carolina
Or
in me
some
coming
bullshit.
out. But that's where, I mean, even like my coworkers / friends that have now moved to different, I have a couple that are now down in Virginia. Straight up, like, we're in the middle of like between like 1:30 to 3, which is before the 4 and 5 o'clock p.m. news. He'll hit me up and be like, yo, this is what's going down. How does this sound, and blah, blah, or what is the difference between, you know, this and that? I know there was something that happened. Somebody broke into like a hair store and stole a whole bunch of like extensions. And he was like, yo, I'm so not trying to be offensive, but what's the difference between extension and weave or some shit? I mean, like, and it's like, but he's just like, and I was like, you don't have to like put a disclaimer, we're friends. He was like, yeah, but, you know, I don't want to offend you or you curse me out or anything like that, because I know it's probably happened to him before where he genuinely wanted to know a question, you know? So I think about, like, you know, finding the happy medium and everything. And it's funny about what you said about Asian people, because, like, again, you know, I grew up around Asian people. So when I got here, like, when I moved back to the mainland and to Maryland, it was like I always knew I was black, but I didn't realize I was black until I moved to Maryland, because it was never a thing. It was like, not only that, my parents never put me into like military schools, so I was always in local schools with people. So I was the token black girl around German people. Then I was a token black girl around, even though Hawaii is a U.S. state, it's like there's nothing but Japanese, Samoan, Micronesian people. And I've never felt like excluded or they stole like my culture. If anything, when I got there, especially like the way that we didn't have certain things like we do now, accessible internet wise, like they had questions, like they thought everything was just like menace to society or some shit, and then they would ask you questions. So but then like you get to know, like for me, being in Hawaii was the only, because you know that's my hometown, that was the place where I felt the most home at. And then it got to the point where I don't know if anybody watched back in the day, Disney Channel movies, and Johnny Tsunami, when he left like Hawaii and came to live like in like the winter part. But man, and I guess he went to get some food and they served him like pineapple, but that shit was from a can. That's exactly what happened to me. And then I would see, like, I'm used to
Shanti's like, that's how you serve that shit.
Yeah, I was like, what is that? I need a whole ass pineapple. But like it was a culture shock.
Mm.
It was a culture shock because you would see like black kids sitting with black kids, white kids sitting with white kids. And there was the Asian kids table.
Mm-hmm.
I immediately went to sit with the Asian kids table because that's what I was used to.
Right.
Oh.
You know, and they were looking at me like, "The fuck are you doing here?" Like that. And so then I,
Yeah.
embrace and everything. But I just think like open dialogue, especially when I got like a whole bunch of like white. I don't want to say a whole bunch of white friends because the term friend for me is like on a whole different level.
Yeah.
But I do have
People
some
use
like
the term friend
Yeah.
very loosely.
yeah, very loosely.
Like my son.
And I was just like, but I do have one good friend who is like the
Everybody's your
quintessential
fucking friend when you're 10.
corny looking white dude who just genuinely wants to know certain like he wants to know so he doesn't offend people.
Yeah.
But then he gets scared to ask because he just feels like someone's gonna chew him the fuck out.
So you think that accountability,
Yeah.
you have to hold your friends, you have to hold everybody
Absolutely.
accountable for it. That's a way to
Absolutely.
I mean, media and movies
Mm-hmm.
control how black people and black culture is perceived for the most part.
Yeah.
And who controls that shit?
Right.
White people. And they don't know shit about our culture
No.
or any of that. They just take everything from the surface and they use it and they use it to make money. And a lot of the times we're left on the downside of that. You know, it's cool for them to talk about mollies and records and people
Right.
getting shot in records, and they're gonna make all types of money off of that. But if you're doing that shit in the hood for real, guess where the fuck you're going? To jail. You're gonna die. You know what I mean? So they kind of exploit us a lot.
But I think a lot of times the exploitation is allowed, it's encouraged. I'm going to tell you this.
I won't say it's encouraged by us though. It's
I will.
allowed.
No. I will say that it's encouraged by us, and I'm going to tell you why.
It definitely is.
I'm going to tell you why. I don't care if I look like a hater. I don't care if I look like a bitter woman or whatever, but it is something fucked up about that goddamn Kardashian clan.
Of course.
And wait a minute, a lot of it is encouraged by the black dick they date.
Oh yeah.
A lot of it.
They're all in the sunken space.
No.
They're in the sunken-
No. So you have a lot of times black men and I'm sure black women who push that shit on their white or whatever it is they want to date counterparts. And then they tell black women, "Oh, you're a hater. Or you're bitter. Or you're this," when basically you're spoon feeding these women our fucking culture. And because we say something, I'm a fucking hater.
What are you
Because
speaking of in
those are not
particular?
called fucking boxer braids. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, they
know?
did. That was some bullshit. I ain't gonna lie, that was some
because
bullshit.
you know, growing up on a playground, how black girls was teased for they fucking lips, but you like, yeah, plump them shits up, baby. Put a little bit more filler in them, baby. You beautiful.
But that's what
Or
they've
what-
been doing.
No. That's not what they've been doing, and I think that it's
When I was young,
encouraged.
they
Didn't
called
Dolly
them
Parton fill her
DSLs.
fucking lips
That
up
wasn't a
too?
good thing.
Right, they were. Can you imagine being a child, 10, 11, 12,
Yeah.
13, being told you got dick
Yeah.
sucking lips?
Yeah.
There's
Exactly.
nothing wrong with some good DSLs.
Exactly.
I just want everybody
You
in
know
the
what?
audience to
Yeah,
know.
now.
This is you now, but I'm talking about
I didn't have
10,
a problem
11,
with them
12.
then. I don't have a problem with them now.
You didn't.
Praise God for you and your
No,
DSLs.
you gotta think like you.
I can't take you serious. I cannot take you serious. Go ahead, Eden.
No, but it's like you gotta think like you were what, born and raised here? Okay. So I'm vaguely remembering being in North Carolina for them 4 or 5 years that I was there, and you would see like the young, especially like the young black country boys. Let's just paint a scenario. You see the young black country boys, dark skin. Maybe they got that ring around their mouth because they was doing, you know what I'm saying? And it was just like, yo, let me holler at you at the prettiest girl in the class. Prettiest girl in the class didn't want you. One little Albie Shore looking motherfucker. Because especially there, we have a big problem with colorism in our community, as we
Most
know.
definitely.
So then it's like subconsciously, but then also blatantly pushed down into your face, right? You get older, and then say that same little country dark skinned black boy, he's like the bomb.com on the football field. And then he goes from middle school, then he goes from high school, and then they were like, you know what, Hoss? You know what, boss? You know what, that boy good. We gonna send him.
That boy, that good. He
We gonna
good.
send him to Texas or blah blah blah. Then he goes, rips it up in Texas or Alabama State. Then he goes to the pros, and it's like back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all
They
up
all
on me.
on me.
But it's
then-
not now you hide this all up on you. Back then you was dusty as fuck and didn't
Yeah.
nobody want to
This
deal
is
with
not
that.
true.
No,
Listen,
but I'm
listen.
saying no, but
I was that little black boy, wide nose,
But
big
what
lips,
you
dark
need,
as
but what
fuck.
you need to realize, and I
And
was
now dark ass niggas is
No,
in,
but
it's
my
style now.
only point to this is just saying
the
that, like, I mean, but you know, you keep on like striving for this girl. I mean, and who's to say, like, you know, striving for the girl, but then it's always blatantly put into your face that, oh man, that once I get that girl, that how they say, which irritates the fuck out of me because black women are the most exotic looking women on the planet to me.
They're
But their idea of exotic is the chick, like, let me get a Brazilian chick. You ain't never been to Brazil
when that
or whatever.
Brazilian would
or
have
go
talked
in there.
buku shit
Yeah.
about you before that black girl did in second grade.
Exactly. Which you can all see.
Han
on-
Shanti.
What's that show
I
called?
don't know.
Wags.
I don't know, bro. Like, it was rough growing up, dog.
But you know what? It was rough growing up
for
for women too. It was rough for me
It
growing
was.
up. I had a big nose. You know, I was dark. I've always loved my skin. You can never make me feel bad about my skin
Listen,
color
listen.
and everything.
Chocolate women.
But at 33 years old, I still will tell you there's nothing like a fucking black man. I've never dated outside of my fucking race because that's what I've always looked at.
Let me ask you a question.
I'm talking
Consider
about
the
me.
Africans outside of your race.
That is not outside of my race.
Cause I told my girlfriend she wasn't black.
Oh no, Africans, and that's another
they
thing.
don't
That's
even-
another
you-
story. That's another story. African,
you ain't black.
and
You ain't-
you know,
your struggle ain't the same as
American,
mine.
American Africans. That's a different story. But I can never blame so and so in second grade, or so and so in third grade or fourth grade as the reason why I don't date black men. That was something April had to realize. You the bombed out motherfucking con, big nose and everything. My nose ain't going nowhere. I still got this fucking snout. You know, I still got this dark skin. You know, I still got these big eyes. And I still love me a black man. You know, I had to fix my confidence. It had nothing to do with the people making fun of me. It was me.
I'm not going
black
to
women
say
love black
that
men, though.
this
Yeah, I
is
do.
every single black man.
Yeah.
But when it comes
Agreed.
to the clients that I have, or when it comes to the patients that I've had, a lot of times these black men that date outside of their race, they have tremendous issues with their mom, like mega issues with their mother. And I'm not saying this is everyone, but that's also something you have to keep in mind. Just like it's black men got low self-esteem and insecurity like black women. They got issues that's going on with black women. I mean, just like black women as well. They dating outside their race because they got issues from home.
And they think that they can
They-
find the answer in somebody who don't look like them.
I'm gonna tell you what the
Hey,
problem is,
master.
though.
Okay.
We gotta stop stigmatizing each other, though. Like, I hear even black women that love black men be talking shit about black men. Even black men who love black women be talking shit about black women.
Like what?
One, how combative y'all, how trifling we are, shit. And that's not everybody. Like, you gotta stop stereotyping everybody like that. We have to learn how to love ourselves and love each other first, and then we can make some progress. I love me a black woman. I love me a nice chocolate ass black woman too.
Hold on, let me go back on my
Listen.
El Cash Rolodex.
El Cash. I'm glad you said it again because I forgot. I was about to be like El Hijab or something.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that a lot of times when they take our things and it's considered progressive, is they're not being held accountable for it.
Nah.
Is no, they don't have that black friend. They gotta have black friends. That's who the fuck they getting it from.
Listen,
Wow,
they talking to you about your black skin,
wow.
but they tanning though.
Right.
Why you
So
tanning?
that
Why you
girl
trying to get
who's
darker?
doing those braids for you needs to be like, wait a minute. You know, let me give you a lesson on this shit. Not just pay me and money is money. You know, I think that these women need to be held, or men too, accountable for it.
I think we do need to be held accountable, and we should definitely, speak out. But remember, I don't know if y'all remember. Y'all remember like 20 years ago when Chinese writing was the thing? When motherfuckers used to go get their tattoos, but not know what the hell they were saying.
Yeah,
but
be getting
they just
nigga
used to put it on.
tattoos
I ain't
on
doing that
them
shit. That's-
in Chinese. It say nigga, and they think
Yeah.
it say water.
It say
Right.
egg foo young.
They think
And
it
I
say
know a lot of
bold.
people that-
It say
Exactly.
10 wings,
And
flies.
I know a lot of people that did that.
Salt, pepper,
as
ketchup,
well.
and sauce.
But I feel like
That's what that shit
once
say.
the black skin or the black culture become a trend, that's a problem.
Right.
If you really are like in love and you've been out there and you live in Africa and you connecting with it, you've connected with those people as well, and then that's your approval. When you doing that shit because it's a fad or it's something that looks good right now, you feel like you're gonna get attention and don't know anything about it. That's when I feel like it's problematic.
Right.
But everything we do is gonna get attention. Everything.
But
Everything black people do blow up.
But the thing is, like, okay, when I was in Jamaica, I had this young lady, 'cause I went out there with my natural hair, and I got my hair braided by the young lady who always braids my hair out there. So, I come back to the resort, and this white chick is like, oh, your hair looks nice. And la, 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 la. And we get to the end of it is, well, who did it? Can you tell me who? They have a number? I want to get my hair braided like that. And I was like, why? No, I really wanted to know why. Before I give you this shit, why? Because you think it's cute? Because this is the way of the land? And this is what while in Jamaica do what Jamaicans do?
This how she
Long
would get her some
story
black
short,
dick.
I didn't get her shit.
That's how she was gonna
And
get
when
her some
she
black
got her
dick.
ass on that fucking bus to take her ass back to White Lady USA or wherever the fuck, she still had that stringy ass hair. Because I was not going to tell her anything. Tell me why you want your hair done like me. But the average black chick probably would, oh yeah, and you need 10 packs of hair. Make sure it's the Motown Tress version. And you can go get the hair from so-and-so and so. No.
It's a pack of hair called Motown.
It is a hair company called Motown Tress. It is. But I wanted to
Shout
say
out Berry Gordy.
Outre is the name of the hair I use. But like a lot of women would have just gave it to her. No. Not on my watch. I'm not going to tell you where. Because why do you want it? Because it's cool?
And she didn't give you an answer, and she didn't even say anything.
Well, she
Why she wanted it?
gave me so many fucking Dora Blinks. Like,
Oh,
The
yeah.
Dora Blink stuff.
yeah, the blink.
But let me ask y'all a question. Why
And
do
I
y'all
told her
think they
ass
take our
swiper
culture
no
so
fucking
much?
swiping.
Yeah, that's
Swiper no
that's
fucking
big in Bahamas too. Like they just be sitting down on the street with the bees and everything. They ready.
Right.
Swiper
No, and that is what we have to do. We have to safeguard our shit. We have to fucking make it into a fortress. No, you can't get into this bitch just because you
But
think
what's
it's nice.
the best way to do that though?
What
we
I
gotta
did-
have our own shit. We don't have our own shit. Our
I'ma tell
music
you,
is on old white labels. Our fashion is in white people. Everything is in their hands. Everything.
But-
we put it all in their hands.
No,
we
we
give
don't.
them the
No, we
keys to the
don't.
city.
No, we don't
have.
because there are independent black labels.
Where they at
There
though?
are independent black clothing lines.
Where they at though?
They're out there. We don't support them.
Are you an independent black designer?
Hello.
I am, and I'm wearing my shit right now.
We got you.
No, you don't got me because
We
you
got
ain't got on shit black sauce right now.
I don't. But I am black sauce. Let me let you understand that.
I support. I don't buy. I cannot tell you the last time I've gone into a mall and bought some shit. But I can tell you the last time I've gone on Instagram and asked, hey, I need so and so black so and so.
Yeah.
Or I can tell you how many times I've gone and said, okay, I'm looking for black so and so's. You know?
Instagram
So
is the
it's
best
out
place
there.
to find that. It is.
You just have to fucking look for it. Ain't that what
Yeah, we
Martin
shouldn't
said?
have to look for
if
it
you
so
look up
much,
on aisle
though.
6.
Like what the fuck Larry Johnson say? Like most of the league, like 70 to 80% of the league is black.
Right.
But all the owners are fucking white. Why we can't walk away and create our own league? Because
Fear.
they're making all of the fucking money off us. But the dollar speaks. That's all it is. Like,
Right.
they're there for the money. That's it.
Right.
But all the money that we're generating for them, if we took it and made our
Took
own
it.
league,
Right.
the money fucking goes with us.
Right. And that's what I do. I take my money and I only put it into black shit. My makeup artist, my hairdresser, my photographer, everybody, my orthodontist. I live in fucking Dumfries, Virginia. I drive all the way to Bowie, Maryland
Yes, you do.
for my orthodontist because she is black. How
No,
many
she not.
people are going to do that? And I don't just speak about it. I'm about it. Everybody, if you ask me who's your gynecologist, she's black.
Mine is. Oh well.
Who's your
she Jewish.
Who
She Jewish.
you know
Never
what?
mind. No.
She Jewish.
I'm gonna
Man,
say
pussy.
no. My
Who is
primary care is
anybody?
black.
They're black. I'm telling you.
Oh, my sister's
And
a
if
dope
all
makeup
of us
artist
did
too.
this-
She's black.
Come on.
Plug that.
We're going to get on part 2. Because we got 16 fucking minutes. Ride it
But why
out.
I think they appropriate our culture so much though? If everything that we do is so fucking negative, why do they take everything that we do?
Because they see the value in it and we don't.
Because
We
the
just
black
see it
dollar.
like we're just expressing ourselves.
I think the black dollar is the strongest.
Yeah, and we have the most liquid value.
Yeah.
And where we
That's
spend that
another
shit at?
thing. Hmm?
Niggas walking around in Louis and Gucci and all that shit. They don't give a fuck about you.
They don't. They don't.
I won't buy anything that has Tommy Hilfiger and none of that
Well, you
shit on
shouldn't be
it.
buying Tommy anyway because that shit is played out.
Yeah, niggas still wearing that shit though. Niggas still wearing that shit.
Just might have lost a sponsor. But that just played out. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what we need to do. We need to support each other. I mean, they see
that.
our value.
Much respect to sisters of all shades. We know Ice Cube got his own league, but that 3-on-3 shit, look, we need 5-on-5 basketball. He gonna probably expand now.
Right. But I
You gonna
mean,
probably
we need
expand.
to start spending we don't trust each other.
We making little
You
moves.
will go
Everybody
and
need to
get
sit the fuck down.
disrespected by a retailer. You'll get followed around fucking Louis Vuitton for that bullshit ass cheapest thing in the store that you want the belt.
Listen, they
But
follow
you'll talk
Oprah.
shit about a black owner. You know, a black
Oh,
business owner.
like big baller brand. That's like.
Hey, look, shout out to motherfucking LeVar Ball. People hating on that man, but he doing this fucking thing. He's supporting his sons, and he fighting the system. He's fighting the system.
You know what he's
I'm not
doing
spending
his own
$400 on
thing,
no shoes,
but,
though,
what
but
I don't
Yeah.
like is
I
when
re- I
he
respect him,
ridiculed.
though.
I don't like when he ridiculed. If you can't afford this,
you ain't a
Yeah.
big
and
baller.
you ain't a big baller.
Because
Yeah.
guess
whatever.
what? Niggas will go spend $400 on some fucking Ferragamos. They'll spend $400 on some fucking Ferragamos.
If
You
consider-
balling then, ain't you?
If you're
All right,
listening
then.
to this
He-
via
we-
audio, please make sure you go to YouTube at this
Listen.
mark,
What he said
44641,
wasn't no
and see
joke.
the look on Ashanti's face when he said you niggas will go out and pay $400 on Ferragamo.
Real shit though.
'Cause he
We'll go
wasn't
out there
playing.
and spend $500 on some European shit, some Anglo-Saxon bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But you won't support the big baller brand? They all black. And can barely pronounce that shit. You
That's
wearing
past
some
the
shit
Versace.
that you don't even know what that shit
Pass the
means.
Versace.
What's the Versace's?
The Versace.
The Versace's.
That's right. What do you
Louis
think?
Vuitton.
Don't do this LV. That's all you need to know is LV.
V. You don't know what
the
Vuitton
same thing
is.
goes for liquor as well too. Like liquor and wine.
Please stop calling it dust.
What is dust?
It's Douce.
Do
Calling
something.
it dust.
Ain't that Jay-Z
I was
shit?
like,
That's
what
Jay
is
Z
that?
shit, but
That
still.
Jay-Z shit though.
That's the dust.
I was like, what is that?
It's
And I was like,
Douce.
what is that?
Douce.
Dust. Okay.
Hey, shout out to Ludacris for that conjure because that shit is very
I hear the
smooth.
conjure is good. I need to try
That
it. I'm not a
conjure
brown
is
person.
smooth as shit. I fuck with that Avion. Shout out to motherfucking Young Jeezy.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, but he
Yes,
doesn't
yeah.
own it all.
It doesn't
Oh,
matter. His face
yeah.
is on it. He
See,
need
but
to own
doesn't
it all.
matter if we're going to talk about completely supporting
own
black
Avion?
businesses.
He the face of
okay,
it. That's all I
so
know.
this is what, because my homegirl, when she has her next event, because I told you I was going to tell you about it, where she puts together these mixers for black entrepreneurship, just so everybody in the
Yeah.
DMV can connect with each other. So the last time that I was with her, she had an event and she gave us a task of finding a black-owned wine or a black-owned liquor. Could not find a black-owned liquor. Ciroc is not one.
No. Diddy don't own that shit
Yeah.
completely.
And
And-
50 don't
know
own
a couple of
Ethan.
people.
Yeah, and then the wine, it was like only two, and it was one called Flow,
Okay.
and the other one was, I think it's Seven Sisters by the Mandela Sisters as well,
Oh.
and that was it.
Boomaye.
And then we had to
Really
really,
good,
really
really good.
research, and I think there's about like 12 black wineries in the whole U.S.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's
But that's
definitely
the shit that we're the face of everything.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
how they sell shit, but we
Right.
don't own nothing.
And you know what? That's what I was thinking about this Black Panther movie. Yes, I do want to support it, but who is the money going to?
Marvel.
Marvel, but most of the people on the staff, the directors, the actors,
Yeah.
they have a all black. I'm going to see
Okay.
that shit.
Well,
I
I
ain't
want to go
lying.
see
I'm
it
going to
regardless,
see
even
that.
though if I gotta go in with
I'm
a
going to see
trench
that.
coat and some glasses.
Stanley Oda's gonna be in the
and
movie
tap
somewhere,
dance my ass
but-
in there, but I was gonna go see it. But I was just like, where's the money going to though?
Yeah,
Who is
but
it going
yeah,
to?
But
like-
that's a black.
Yeah,
that's a
Ava
black
DuVernay.
film.
Yeah.
Ava DuVernay does a really good
Yeah,
job of that. Over at Insecure, they do a really good job of that
Yeah.
as well.
Shout out Issa Rae.
Yeah, shout out my
Issa,
boo.
if you see me, look
Yeah.
here, boo. I love you. Love you. I love
Anything
you.
else you want to say to her?
Not on air.
So
Let-
we're gonna
call
talk
me.
about part 2. We're gonna talk about part 2, even though we have like 10 minutes now. in this. And so you think we can set it off in 10 minutes, guys?
Yeah.
What we about to talk about? What y'all want to talk about?
Okay, so the second portion of this is.
Don't be breathing all hard.
Did you hear my son breathe hard?
Like you done had
Did
a
you
hard
hear him,
fucking
sis?
day or some shit.
I was about to, and then he took it away from me. So I
Okay.
was like,
So, the second part, I'm trying to pull it up. See,
Look, that's what I'm talking
I
about.
had written it down and I left
Thank
it in.
Almighty for the chocolate candy. I hear you, brother. Neptune versus Jupiter. Ain't nothing
You know
like
what?
some chocolate sisters. Listen here.
Right, right.
The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Literally.
look, I dated everything.
Literally, listen
but
to
just
me.
to
Look
come
me in
full
my eyes
circle
when I
and
say
be like,
this.
hey.
Take it easy, you.
Jesus.
You done?
I had a
Are
moment.
you done?
I had a moment. I'm
You
sorry.
finished it? Is you done? All right. I can't find it. Oh,
Don't
so why
Birdman
is
me,
it?
though.
Why is it that when white folks do some fuck shit, their crime is diagnosed? We go back to what the fuck they like to drink on the weekends, and they like golf and shit.
Oh, we're
You
talking,
know?
Are we talking about the Vegas shooter now?
We talking
All
about
of them
everybody.
motherfuckers. All the
Because
mass
they were
shootings
trying
are
to
done
tell
by
me
white
that the Columbine
men.
motherfuckers was Boy Scouts. And I'm like, well, I bet that's where they learned
But
all
you
that
know
shit
what?
from.
They started to talk about their troubled past
Right.
and how good students
Right,
they were
right,
and how
right.
friendly they were. But as soon as a black man, you can get killed as a black person. They're
Right.
going to pull up your criminal hit. If
Right.
you stole a lollipop at 2, my nigga.
Right. Like they criminalize, they demonize
They gonna
Trayvon.
find it.
They'll try to find a way to justify
Why you got your ass
why you
killed.
got your ass killed to a T.
But they don't get killed. They shoot themselves and shit.
Yeah, you're right. So,
Ain't that some bullshit?
you say they killed themselves?
They kill themselves.
do.
Because they going to take them into custody. You see what they did to Dylan Roof? They got this nigga some Burger King.
They
Yeah,
did.
they did.
I couldn't have got a burger, a piece of cheese, or none of that. They would have shot my black ass. I
Right.
go on a white church
Right.
shooting
So,
some people.
so when white folks commit crimes, they try to figure out why. How did they go from being these productive citizens of the community to this heinous crime? But when black folks do it, it's the nature of the beast.
Man, you go to
Why?
the concrete jungle, you get locked up. What's
Mm-hmm.
the dude that went in the movie theater and shot all those people? This man went to the insane asylum.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be free soon.
He will
Killed all the-
overcome.
He shall overcome. But they shot Martin ass, didn't they? Ain't that some bullshit?
Somebody talk. Eden.
They assassinated
Naisha?
Martin. Ain't that some bullshit? But my man.
But
he
you know,
shall
Martin was
overcome.
considered a terrorist before they killed him.
But why? Martin was
Because it
getting
didn't
rock
go
stone
with
at his
agenda.
head.
They
His head.
considered
Greta,
everybody
ain't this
talking
some
against
bullshit?
the machine a terrorist. They considered Eartha Kitt a terrorist. She wasn't. Well, she didn't come back
she
into
made
the
the
U.S.
first
until
lady
like the
cry.
80s, right? Yeah.
So.
Shout out to Sada Shakur.
Oh yeah.
It's my
So
boo.
when we going to Cuba to go see her?
I want to go to Cuba.
I tried to
see
go to
Asada
Cuba, but
look.
since they did that block again,
Yeah.
so
They
it's
blocked
like
it again.
yeah.
Now
Fuck
you there?
Trump.
I'm here.
Okay. So what do you think about that? Like coming from a mental health perspective, why do you think that's true?
Two things. Mental health is taboo in the black community. It is not in the white community. And the second is the white people invest in paying for people to make it mental. Whereas sometimes black people don't have the money.
Right.
We don't have the money to pay the doctor to write that off. We don't have the money to have that lawyer put in that extra work.
Right.
Whereas, we may have to sit and take that L. And then mental illness, like, what the fuck is that?
Right.
It's
Right.
a taboo. So, I see it a lot. They
Right.
talk about it. White people, they talk about mental illness all the time.
Right.
They get that written off all the time.
So
And they
now
have
you
the
should-
money to get it done. Unfortunately, we don't, or we don't even talk about the topic of mental illnesses because that shows that we're weak. So we're not even about to say that we got a problem because then, we're weak.
Right.
That's exactly what I was about to ask you. Why do you think it's taboo in the black community? But you answered my question.
I mean, we've been taught survival skills.
Or just pray on it.
Right. Oh yes.
Well, look, that PTSD shit is real. Like it's
Are we
real.
talking
It's
post-traumatic stress disorder or post-traumatic slave disorder?
post-traumatic slave disorder. That's why. Like It's real, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Like, if you grew up in the motherfucking projects hearing gunshots every fucking night, seeing people get killed in the block, you seen a dead body before, that shit's not normal. It's not normal. And we treat it like it's normal. We even celebrate it sometimes, but it fucks you up.
Right.
Like, a lot of us are not balanced out here, especially if you grew up in the inner city.
Yeah,
You're fucked up in the head, and you don't even realize it.
Sorry, last year, I think Johns Hopkins came out with a study. I mean, which they still ain't do shit about it, but that said that a lot of the children in Baltimore had the same level of PTSD as soldiers coming back from the Middle East, you know. And even with that information, I mean, I personally don't see anything. Because you would think if you had that type of information, you would definitely police better.
What's that?
But
What's
They're
police
not
better?
going
I know.
Right.
You don't see the same amount of police in a white neighborhood as you see in a black neighborhood.
No.
You are in a war zone. You are under fucking martial law at all fucking times. You don't even realize it. You don't see the same amount of police in a white neighborhood as you see in a black neighborhood.
Right.
The conditions that we're put under are totally different.
Right.
Totally different. So you're growing up in that, and it's normalcy to you. But when you go outside of that, I didn't know that DC was so fucked up until I went to Houston. Until I got to college and seen that people act totally different. Our attitudes are way fucked up here. I didn't know what was wrong with us. I thought it was normal. It's not. And it's not normal. It's not normal in any neighborhood. Go to a white neighborhood. They don't live like that. Well, they're not put under those same conditions.
Or
They're
if
not.
they do, there are resources and supports for them.
Exactly. White people are they're the biggest welfare consumers in the land. And it's not talked about.
No.
They live in trailer parks and all that shit. And it's cool. Nobody's telling them they're lazy and all that shit. But if you on welfare and you black, you ain't shit. You might just be going through a hard time at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got generations and generations and generations on welfare. It's not talked about. I had my bank manager. This man was from a trailer park, but he was the bank manager because he was white. He ain't no shit, but he was the bank manager though.
Right.
No.
So I think that mental health needs to be spread more in our community and not be looked down on. The clients that I take on, the first thing I do is I commend them for seeking mental health services, for seeking therapy. I commend you for taking this step. You know, it doesn't happen in our community at all. You know, who wants to be known as crazy?
Yeah.
Who wants to be known as lunatic or anything like that? It's life.
Listen, go seek that help, y'all. Like, if you don't
And
feel
when you
stable,
actually seek, I'm sorry, Ashanti. That just really hit me. If you actually seek the help, you'll find out that you're not getting stamped as a lunatic or crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
it's how our families treat us though. Now you say like, oh, you saying a therapist? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Right, but when you
ain't
tell
gotta
them
tell
your
everybody your
business,
struggle, bro.
they
Like,
tell everybody
go seek
else.
that help for real. Like, it's a bitch dealing with that shit on your own, and you make really bad fucking decisions. I
Right.
can attest to that.
But you ain't never come and talk to me. What you thought I was gonna charge you a copay?
I'm gonna come talk to you. Listen.
I'm your best friend.
But
Go ahead.
it's also a thing just to commend you, April, and you, Naisha, for actually providing the help that we need, because we need more professionals that look like you all.
Amen.
Because, like, I was talking to a young lady who was seeking help, but she was doing it like a pro bono type thing, and they they don't care
Because
so
it's
they're
just something
giving
you
it.
get credit
yeah,
for.
so she said
And
that.
all the
so
pro
she
bono
said,
motherfuckers is white.
Yeah.
and that's exactly what she said. She said that she got a white woman who was
all
actually
white.
trying to police her and tell her how she should feel as a black woman, which is just like, which turns off a whole lot of people who are trying to seek the help that they need because they don't have someone who can relate to them.
Everybody that loves a solid look.
Yes.
I love you
So, with that being said, if you or
Of course
someone
they're not
you
giving up a
love
solid whereabouts.
is having some mental health issues, we have a minute left. Please reach out to myself and reach out to my sister Naisha, especially black women, because a lot of times the norm is you take it and you deal with it.
And black men too, because
Black
we
men
don't
too.
seek no help, especially
So, I can be reached.
black women are a little more. They'll go seek that help. Black men, y'all won't seek shit. Y'all gonna seek this bottle or this blunt. Y'all need to go seek some help.
www.thoughtsofAnicole.com, and that's ANICHOLE.com. My sister can be reached www.NaishaWilliams.com, and she's NYEESHA, and y'all know how to spell Williams. I'm a little fucked up. Don't have me spell all of that.
WILLIAMS.
Crooked letter,
W-L-
crooked letter,
Yeah,
I.
see what I mean? So we do individual sessions, we do couple sessions, we do group sessions, we do grief therapy, we do trauma therapy, PTSD, we do all of that. And we've also been through shit. So make sure you hit us up. You don't have to go through this shit by yourself. And that's real.
Thanks.
Get that help. Real shit.
That's real. How we looking on the time?
That's it, boo.
Okay, so we're going to wrap this
We
up.
love y'all.
We love y'all. I'm sorry for the wait. But I'm back and we on this shit.
Be back next week.
We'll be
Fuck
back
with
next
us.
week, next Saturday, 4 o'clock. Catch us on social media, Instagram, Black Sauce Podcast, Twitter, Black Sauce Cast. You can catch our website, www.blacksaucepodcast.com. Fuck with us.
Catch me in a hood near you.
Later.